It was the depth of ice cold and black. Every night at the crossroads, how the moon hit screaming back. You don't heard the stories, so it was no surprise. But at 2 a.m. the man died in the gutter, fire flash in the sky. You never know somebody till you've seen them separate survive. Some people see salvation from below, others from the sky. The death that died in plain sight. Blood comes with liquor, he's alone, singing, God, I'm the devil, and the devil is going home.
What is going on, everybody, and welcome to episode number 8 of the Fighters Walk podcast. I am your host, Corey Keene, and it's been a minute. This has been a rough week. It's Friday. Monday was rough. We had bad storms here. Lost all of our internet. Brutal. Lost internet on Monday. Call our internet provider. They say they can't get here till Thursday. Okay, so you're going to live in 2021 without internet for Tuesday, Wednesday, and then they come Thursday. You got to bite the bullet. I get it. I mean, you got to look at it like this. You assume because of the storms, there were a lot of people who lost internet, a lot of people who lost cable. I get that. But if you're the host of one of the greatest MMA podcasts, you need to produce your content. I didn't have a show on Tuesday. Now, to make matters worse, I, with no internet, couldn't even record this show. I attempted to record it, and as I'm recording, because I don't have internet connection, the file wouldn't convert. So I do a pretty solid UFC 264 recap show, which I had a lot to talk about. And it was all just jumbled up in the brain because it was a crazy night. Couldn't do it. So now I had to wait almost a week post UFC 264 to discuss everything that I wanted to talk about with that card. It was a rough week, man. Then, to make matters even worse, they're supposed to come fix it yesterday. You know how the internet providers and your cable companies, they give you that window, that like 2-3 hour window. Well, I leave work early so I could be home for when they come. So our window is 12 to 2. Cool. Get out of work early, get to come home, see the dog, and I'm here. And it's 12. That's fine. They're busy. Then I doze off, keep my phone on in case they call. It's 1. 1:30 turns to 2. Then I'm thinking to myself, they're not coming. They're not coming. So, like any guy would, he calls his beautiful fiance and says, "Hey, you have to call them now. I'm the nice guy. Good cop, she's bad cop." So, she calls. She calls and there was never an appointment scheduled. I was furious. Now, good thing I wasn't on the phone because I still would have been playing. I still would have been like sympathetic towards whoever was on the other line. Not so much for Rach. Rach let this poor guy have it. And see, here's the thing. I'm not losing it. I called. And they just don't have any recollection of me calling. I need my internet, people. We need our internet, people. It was just a absolute cluster. So to make things just, this is like the icing on the cake. Icing on the cake. He gave us two options. He said, one, we could either wait until Saturday. They had to schedule us another appointment. Wait 2 more days. Hell no. Or we could go to the Xfinity store and just pick up a router, because router was the only thing, like the modem. The modem was the only thing that got damaged. We could have did that on Tuesday. But we didn't know. Like, we know how to turn it on, set it up, but we don't know exactly what's wrong with it. We didn't know we could just go to the store and pick up a new modem. I about freaked. But all is good because we got a brand new modem. It's like a brand new one. Internet's better than it's ever been. I'm happy. I'm back. That's my vent. I had to vent. I had to let you guys know what was going on. I thought we'd have internet. I thought we'd have internet a day earlier, but that just wasn't the case. And you know what? It is what it is. We got a banger of an episode for you today. We are going to be recapping UFC 264, as we should. Biggest fight card of the year. Have no choice. We have to. Now, that being said, there are a lot of fights announced. Some big ones coming up. The return of Nick Diaz. Yes, you heard that correct. Not Nate. Nick Diaz. First time fighting since 2015. Fighting Robbie Lawler. They've fought once 17 years ago. I had to say that quick because when that fight was announced, as I'm just sitting here not being able to podcast, dude, that's a sick fight, man. If you're a diehard and you've been a UFC fan forever, that fight gets you going. That's a dope fight. Dope fight. And that card is sick. We'll talk about that card another time, just because there's still, it's still a pretty good ways off. But let's take care of business. Let's take care of business. And that business is what? The aftermath of UFC 264 looks like. Tough night for sure. Great. Let me back up. Great night. If you're a diehard Connor fan like myself, it was a tough night. Let's just jump right into it. Tough night, especially when a lot of people don't like Conor. Maybe don't get why you like Conor. But here's the thing. I'm not crazy into like the investment scene, but this is the way I'm looking at it. For me personally, Conor was like that investment you make. It goes one of two ways, and you either ride it out and you just stick with it, or you pull out, make your money when it's hot, when it's hot. Almost like gambling in a way. See, I stayed in. I'd say around 2015 is when I was all in. I saw the highest of highs. Probably could have pulled all the money out, but I didn't because I just loved the character. I loved what he represented for the UFC. I just loved everything about him. And I use past tense, but I still do love Conor McGregor. I was with him for the highest of highs, and I had to defend him for the lowest of lows. And that's fine. If you're a fan of something and you believe in something, you can't blame me. You can't blame me. So I'm still all in on Conor, but now there's just a lot of questions. There's a lot of questions. So that fight happens. And you don't know what you're gonna get until they start fighting. Conor came out. I was pumped, man. He looked good. He looked really good. He was looking at the camera, walking out, yelling into it, looking like a crazy person, looking crazy. But then you ask yourself, is it an act? Is it an act? Is it just him telling himself, like, this is who I was? Is it still who I could be? I don't know. And then you got to look at the inactivity. He's won once since like 2016, I think. No, he beat Cowboy. So he's won twice since 2016. Okay. Dustin's been grinding. I'm talking a lot about Conor, but you can't take anything away from Dustin. He's a beast. Dustin's a dog. Dustin trains with the best, and he's one of the best, and he's the number one contender. And now he's in line for a title fight. So that's good for him. Now, with all that being said, whether you had that first round 10-8 or 10-9, one judge had it 10-9, the other two had it 10-8. So whether you had it either way, it was tough, man. Dustin looked good. When Conor, oh my God, when Conor almost had that guillotine, I was going crazy. I'm like, is this really how this is gonna go? Is he gonna make Dustin tap? Dustin did a great job getting out, but you never, and I don't care who you are, whether you hate Conor, love Conor, you never want to see a fight end the way that it did. You never want to see a fight end the way it did. That gruesome of an injury, I couldn't watch it. I didn't see it at first. And I was watching the fight with my buddy, and he said, "This fight's over." And I didn't understand what that meant at first. I know Dustin was landing bombs at the end, but I just assumed, oh, Conor got out of the round. Here we go, round 2. Boy, was I wrong. Boy, was I wrong. Tough to watch. I watched it back one time. I watched it back one time just to see like how it happened. And I guess the general consensus is that it was a kick to the elbow. I those injuries are so gruesome, and it's crazy. It's crazy to think that it's happened 4 times in like the history of the UFC. So since '93, there's been like 4 really gruesome injuries like that, which, like I said, you never want to see it, but I guess grand scheme of things, there's not that many. There hasn't been that many of those kind of injuries, but 2 of them happened months apart. 2 of them happened months apart. So it was just a tough ending to an awesome night of fights. Tough ending to an awesome night of fights. Just thinking about it, I don't know. I hated all the memes. Like, yeah, does Conor ask for some of this shit? Yeah, he does, but the dude fractured, broke, like the bones. Oh man, it just wasn't good. And then the step back is even worse on it. Like, I I don't know. I have some notes here, just that some things that I personally wanted to go over. Um, so after that, now for the normal fighter, you're out almost a calendar year anyways. Conor, who doesn't fight all the time, I saw his Instagram videos saying 6 weeks until he could kind of walk on with like crutches and stuff. But then how much longer after that to rehab? It's going to be some time before we see Conor McGregor in an octagon again. And as a fan, it's upsetting, but the show's going to go on with or without him. He's just a big draw. He's just a big draw at this point. And he still is going to be a big draw. Whoever he faces, whoever he fights, he's still going to be a big draw. I mean, the way you look at it, what makes sense for Conor? You know what makes sense for Dustin. Dustin has his title fight. But what makes sense for Conor? You know what I mean? What makes sense for Conor McGregor? Well, I took a look at the UFC lightweight top 15. It sucks. It sucks because I looked at every guy, and after what I saw last Saturday night, I don't think any opponent in the top 15 makes sense for Conor. Every single person I see, except one that I could be like, okay, maybe, every person, I'm going to pull it up. Every person in the top 15. Every person. Okay, so you got Charles. He's the champion. At this point, would it have been a cool fight to see? Cool. Yeah, I mean, for the title, yeah, it would have been cool, but Charles is a dog. Dustin's a dog. Justin Gaethje, styles match, but is a dog, and he could wrestle. Dariush, dog. Michael Chandler, you guessed it, dog. Maybe Tony Ferguson. Maybe this fight makes sense because Tony's kind of like almost out. Maybe it makes sense, but Tony's still crazy in jiu-jitsu. And I mean, I think anyone who fights Conor is going to try to take him down. RDA's the interesting one. RDA's the interesting one. That was the one I kind of had circled. They kind of had that back and forth. They still haven't fought. They were supposed to fight a while ago. Maybe that makes sense. Dan Hooker, absolute savage. Fun fight. They would probably both stand and bang. Islam. Talk about Islam in a little bit. No one wants to fight Islam. I wouldn't want to see Conor fight Islam. Gregor Gillespie. Wouldn't want to see him fight Gregor Gillespie. Cardio machine. Cardio machine and could put Conor to sleep on the ground. Kevin Lee has a fight coming up, a weight class up, against Philly's own Sean Brady. And then you kind of have 12 through 15 where it's like those fights, I mean, Conor could draw with anybody, but none of those fights do anything for me. And then you have after the fight, Conor still chirping, this isn't over. Dustin saying this isn't over. Yeah, Dustin's going to say this isn't over because he's getting paid. Dustin's getting paid. Biggest paychecks he's seen. So yeah, he's going to keep on going with Conor. If Conor's giving it to him, he's going to give it right back. The fourth fight, hear me out. I've said this to so many people. Conor and Dustin 4 does absolutely nothing for me. Nothing. If it's in an octagon, if it's in a boxing ring, if it's at the Irish pub, if it's at the beach, if it's in a WWE ring, Conor, Dustin 4 does nothing for me. It's over. We got to move on. If you're a Dustin fan, you shouldn't want to see that fight again. Why would you? You won the trilogy. You won the rubber match. If you're a Conor fan, move on. Fight does nothing. I mean, yeah, for pride, I guess Conor just wants to show that he could beat him. Dustin probably wants it to get paid. Fight does nothing for me. Does nothing. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. I really don't think it's just me, but does nothing. Does nothing. So for Conor, we're going to be waiting a while. If you're a Conor fan, going to be waiting a while. Nate Diaz trilogy's there, but now you have Nate Diaz calling out Dustin. I don't know. It's like a freaking soap opera with some of these big stars. Just fight, man. I get you want to sell pay-per-views. I get you want to make your money, but just let the best guys fight the best guys and just let people climb. Let the other guys climb. Let the other guys climb. So, did I say my piece? I don't know. It's going to be a while. It's going to be a while before we see the Notorious. That's okay. Stars are made every weekend. Every single weekend, there's a new star made. And that's why we love the UFC. These guys you never heard of, they make a crazy knockout, viral submission. It's awesome, man. So you have stars are made all the time. The UFC is going to move on. That's that. It is what it is, right? It is what it is. Now, with that being said, all that, I'm glad I got most of that out of my head. Oh, the other thing I did want to say before I get off the topic and I forget, the post-fight interviews. I get Joe Rogan has a job to do. I get everybody wants both fighters' perspectives. I get that. But Joe Rogan has said he hates interviewing fighters who are hurt or who have gotten knocked out. And we've seen it done. There was no reason to interview Conor McGregor after he just fractured his leg. There was no need for that. Maybe I'm in the wrong. I don't know. But if I did that, if I had that same injury, I don't want to talk. The fact that Conor was able, well, he didn't keep his cool, that's for sure. Said some very questionable things, but the fact that he was able to do an interview with Joe Rogan after that injury, watching it on the big screen, unbelievable. So who is that? Joe Rogan wears the headpiece. Are people telling him, yo, you have to interview Conor? You have to get a statement. You have to hear what he has to say. Like, does the UFC only see dollar signs when Conor's talking and chirping? Like I said, this fourth fight does nothing for me. There was no reason to interview Conor. They should have got him out as quick as possible. That's just me. So there were stars made. There were stars made. UFC 264. Let's move on. Now I don't have to defend the homie Conor McGregor for what might be a long time. Stars made. Sean O'Malley's stock still going up. Chris Mutino, though. First fight in the UFC. Check. First fight on a pay-per-view main card. Check. Oh, fight one of the top superstars in the UFC. Check. Gain a huge number of followers. Check. Star was made. He's fought one time in the UFC and got beat up. He got beat up. But a star was born. Star was born. People love him. That just walking towards Sean. Sean couldn't finish him. I thought he had him finished in the first, but he couldn't get it done. The stoppage was. Here's what I'm going to say about the stoppage. The stoppage. I got to be careful what I say here, because I've never been in a fight, and I've never officiated a fight. He was getting his ass kicked. I'm not here to judge Herb on stopping that fight, but what was there, 30 seconds, 20 seconds left? Do you let the guy finish? I don't know. Either way, they both made $75K. Good for them. Sean's stock keeps rising. For your first fight, Chris, welcome to the big show. People are going to want to tune in to see you fight next. So that's good for you. Potentially the biggest star of the night, Tai Tuivasa. Dude, I will watch Tai Tuivasa fight anybody. Hit, like, coming out to the Spice Girls, one thing. Dancing, ready to fight Greg Hardy, who is just a genetic freak of an athlete, freak of a person. Tai Tuivasa is just that normal, like, looks like he's from the islands. Looks like he just sits on the beach, drinks a couple cervezas, maybe some kind of fruity drink. I don't know. He's just chilling. But he could knock you the hell out. Not only can he knock you the hell out, he's going to make it look cool afterwards, too, because he's going to do a shoey. He's going to do a shoey. Yo, if I get 10 likes on this video, 10 likes on this video, I will do a shoey next episode. Clip it. 10 episodes or 10 likes. 10 likes on this video, I will do a shoey. I'll do a shoey. I don't care. He was doing shoeys in the octagon. He was some guy put hot sauce in a shoey. He was drinking that. Dudes were waterfalling beers out of the balconies, and he was catching it. Tai Tuivasa is a star. He is a star. He calls someone out in the top 10. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's get it done. I cannot wait to see Tai Tuivasa fight again. Co-main, not much going on. Both fighters were very tentative. No one wanted to mess up. And that happens sometimes. You see, like, when there's a lot on the line, like a potential title fight, it's a chess match, and that's what you got. Gilbert needed to get that checkmate, and he did. It wasn't the most exciting fight. He said that. But he got the job done. And he's a beast in the division. What's next for him? I don't know. I mean, I know he'll fight anybody. But there's a lot going on at the top of that division. A lot going on at the top of the welterweight division. And then you think, what's next for Wonder Boy? What's next for Wonder Boy? We'll find out. I always love tuning into Wonder Boy, though. Always love tuning into Wonder Boy. So my stars made that night. Tai Tuivasa, number 1. Chris Mutino. And then there was another star. Another star. Don't even want to say his name. Darius. Listen, I'm going to know that name, I promise. He's a star, though. He's South African. He's a beast. He was fun to watch. Genetic freak. He's got the look. I'm all in on him, too. His star power. It got there. When I see his name next, I'm going to know how to pronounce it, 1. And I'm going to be excited, 2. Going to be excited, too. So, those are the takeaways from 264, and I'm done talking about 264. Done. It was a long day Saturday. It was a long day, and to be completely honest, wasn't the way I wanted it to end. I wanted Conor to win. I wanted him to talk his talk, call out Charles, and see him in a little bit. Maybe in the fall or winter. So now we wait. Now we wait probably close to a year. See what happens next. Back to the drawing boards. If I had to guess, 2 front runners for Conor. It's either going to be Nate Diaz or RDA. That's just me thinking early. But with all that said, shout out to Dustin. Little tip. Can't play both sides, buddy. Either play the villain or play the good guy. You did a lot of two-sided stuff. He was a villain 1 minute, and he was a nice guy the next. Connor just straight up played the villain all week. And that's fine. Just pick your side. Pick your side. All right. Moving on. Moving on. We do have fights. We do have fights tomorrow. Start to finish. Am I going to watch start to finish? Good chance. I'm probably going to have it on my laptop and play Xbox. That's the other thing, ladies and gentlemen. I'm a big video gamer. I play a lot of Xbox. I didn't have Xbox Monday. I didn't have Xbox Tuesday. I didn't have Xbox Wednesday. Finally got to play last night. Had a good night. Won 2 Fortnite games, and I won a Warzone game. That's your perfect night. That is your perfect night of gaming. So Saturday with this card, depending what I do for it, might put it on the laptop and play some video games, because I don't know much about a lot of the fighters. I don't know much about a lot of the fights. Looking through this quick. 1, not much. 2, no. Yeah, I don't know much about a lot of these. So we're gonna talk here. Let's share this. All right. If you have the time to watch this all the way through, dope. If you don't, that's fine too. What the heck? That's fine. All right. So, Dustin Solfus is back. Kyle Dawkins, my guest on last episode, fought him. So I'll be looking forward to see what happens with him, how his fight goes. Don't know really anything about who he's fighting, but we'll see how it goes. So these last 4 fights are they're the ones I'm going to be watching the most. Jeremy Stevens. If you're a big MMA guy or girl, you know what happened to him. His last fight during the stare down, shoved, I believe it was Klaus. Klaus got hurt. No fight for Jeremy Stevens. He's back. It's always fun watching him fight because he throws bombs. But he's fighting a dude. And again, I don't know much about this guy. But 18-1, I don't know. We're gonna find some stuff out in that fight. So circle that one. Co-main event. Blast from the past. Miesha Tate is back, ladies and gentlemen. Miesha's back. Miesha Tate is back. Don't know much about the opponent she's fighting either. 9-7-1, and I know it's her last fight. I think she's retiring either way after the fight. Good luck to Misha. I hope she does well. I was always a huge Misha Tate fan. I remember when she beat Holly for the title, and then her first title defense did not go well. But what are you going to do? I believe I believe, I could be wrong, I saw her last fight. Yeah, I saw her. I watched her last fight. That was live. That was the Connor in New York card and Eddie. Yep, I do remember that. I thought that was her last fight. It's been a long time for her, man, since 2016. We're gonna find out. We're gonna find out a lot. See if she still has it. A lot of question marks around that fight. It's just gonna be cool to see her back in. It's gonna be cool to see her back in. So good luck, Misha Tate. Main event. Main event. Oh boy. Islam Makhachev. I'll tell you this. Nobody wants to fight Islam Makhachev. A lot of alphas in the UFC. You have to be an alpha. You have to be an alpha to fight. I don't care. You have to. Not a lot of guys want to fight him. I'm telling you. He's a beast. He is an absolute savage. Absolute savage. It's like another version of Khabib. He's an absolute beast. Absolute, like, he's just gonna swarm you. He's gonna grapple you. He's so heavy when he's grappling you, and he could knock you out. Can Thiago beat him? Can Thiago beat him? We're gonna. You're one side or the other. You don't like Khabib, and you don't like anyone who like fights with him or his crew, or you're a big Islam fan and you just want to keep riding the wave. If I had to guess, Islam will be a champion one day. He's just too good. He's too good. Can Thiago beat him? I don't know. Shout out to him because he accepted the fight. Probably knew what was on the line. Main event. Maybe some more money. I don't know. But Islam Makhachev is just a different breed. Just a different breed. Khabib's a different breed, man. Was a different breed. That's the fight night card in a nutshell. I kind of had to combine two shows into one here. Like I wanted to do the recap show, the 264 recap show on my normal date, Monday record, Tuesday post. Obviously couldn't do that. But we'll see. We'll see what this fight night has in store. We'll see what the fight night has in store. I had to do both of these. I kind of had to talk about both. Here's the thing. When I combine shows, I kind of have to condense things, and that's fine. That's fine. Like I can do that. We're just gonna have to go with it. We're gonna have to go with it. Next week I will, all things fingers crossed, I will be back to my normal schedule, get 2 episodes out, and we'll be good. Get 2 episodes out and we'll be good. So again, thank you for backing the Fighters Walk podcast. If you don't subscribe on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. If you listen on Spotify, make the Fighters Walk podcast one of your favorite episodes or one of your favorite shows. You'll get those updates. Same with Apple Pod. You'll get those updates when the show airs and when it gets on those platforms. That's all I got today. I talked a lot about UFC 264. I'm done with all that. Talked a little bit about Fight Night coming up Saturday. Enjoy the fights if you're watching with friends. And have a great weekend. Enjoy. Talk soon. Corey Keene, Fighters Walk Podcast, Episode 8. Peace.
Yeah. But y'all gonna just tune into this tape. And we're gonna keep going, keep bouncing.